this evening. Good evening, Matthew. Clearly serious concern about the impact that this four-day strike could have.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's recognised by all sides that this is going to be a very disruptive week. As you rightly said in the introduction, something like upwards of 250,000 appointments, perhaps 350,000 appointments, could be delayed or cancelled, and no one, least of all the British Medical Association, can guarantee that lives are not going to be put at risk. But you join me from outside a rather deserted Department of Health and Social Care, but up until about half an hour ago, it was a sea of orange, BMA orange, as hundreds of doctors, possibly thousands of doctors, descended on the streets of London to make their voices heard. They were in loud voice, fine fettle, singing, chanting, a number of rather humorous signs I spotted in the crowd, things like below inflation pay keeps the doctors away, or only pregnant women should labour for free. But behind those humorous tones and humorous songs is a very serious message. They feel, junior doctors feel, that they have had a series of basically pay cuts, given that they have failed to match their pay increases that they've had in the last 15 years or so, have simply failed to match inflation. You rightly pointed out there's a bit of discrepancy about exactly how they calculate that, whether it's 26%, 16%, but the fact remains they feel they've had a pay cut. They want that restored. Here's the voices of a few of the people that we found on today's march.
I'm having conversations with patients who are coming in agonising pain, and they wait 12, 14, 16 hours in A&E. They get brought up to the surgical triage unit, and because at points I'm the only doctor there, with possibly 20 patients waiting, they're waiting another 10 hours for their care, to the point where some of them would rather go home than receive the care they desperately need. That's heartbreaking as a doctor, and it fills me with dread that the 5 to 6 years of training I've had in medical school, plus all the training after, is not allowing me to provide patients with the care they need.
I have seen lots of my friends, actually very close colleagues, who have left the UK, have left the NHS for Canada and for Australia. These are the two hot destinations where people are going right now, because the salaries, not only the salaries are better there, but the working conditions are better. We are able to deliver the care that we want to our patients.
Now, as things stand, there seems to be little chance that there will be any kind of resolution, at least on time, to stop the remainder of 3 days of strike action. Basically because there's an impasse. The government is refusing to meet with the British Medical Association representatives until they take their, what the government considers to be unrealistic pay demands of a 35% pay rise off the table. Well, what the BMA says, and what they've been saying to me through the day, is, well, look, that's not a precondition. That's our opening gambit, our opening offer, if you like. What we want is to sit down with the government and for them to make us a credible counter-offer. The government has not done that. And so until the government decides that it will negotiate and put an offer on the table, well, there doesn't seem to be much hope of any kind of resolution to stop the strikes, at least as they're happening until Friday. And then goodness knows whether or not the BMA will feel the need to put further strike action on the table if no movement comes from the government in the coming weeks.
OK, Matthew, thanks very much indeed. Let's go straight to some breaking news from